Well, here we are. We have arrived. Today is our first online tabletop RPG gameplay session featuring Gamma World 3rd Edition. It's been a while, folks. We've been leading up to this point for a good minute. Now, this might be your first video that you've seen here on this channel. So first, let me welcome you to RPG Elite, because this place, folks, this is where we put the RP back into RPG. And we do this by giving you tools, tips, tutorials, getting into some real talk about tabletop RPG culture and the space in general. And we do all of this so that you can have a more immersive and enjoyable tabletop RPG experience. I want to say what's up to my elites and geeks and returnees and all the rest of you guys who have come here more than once. Today is a milestone. It's a day of first. First, this is our first online gameplay. Second, it is the longest video we've ever done. So that's the first there because it's over an hour long. And it's also a first for a YouTube premiere. First time we've ever done this. And I've seen that when I post videos and I've never done it, but this is one of those times where it would be appropriate to do. Now, that means that I'm sitting there with you in the live chat watching this right now. So during the video, if you have any questions, it doesn't necessarily have to be about the video. It could be about anything RPG Elite related or tabletop RPG related. I will be there to answer questions, moderate, and do things. So I'm right there with you, right there with you. Now, if you're looking at the video and you're liking what you see in terms of Gamma World 3rd Edition, then you can always go down in the description below. There is a link, and that will lead you to Drive Through RPG, where you can go ahead and grab yourself a copy of Gamma World 3rd Edition, either a softcover or a PDF. Well, this is something else. I'm happy that we have arrived at this place. And during the time that we've been doing this, I've been trying to set expectations. I've done this several times. This is not going to be a gameplay session like you see normally. As I've said before, this channel is primarily an education channel. It is teaching people how to up your game, so to speak, in tabletop RPGs. And when we do our tabletop RPG gameplay sessions, it's no different. So you're going to see things in this that will be different. Basically, the whole setup is going to be different. However, I do understand this is part entertainment, and there's going to be a little bit of that as well. Now, this is a sample of our online session. This is not the whole session, and we didn't even do the whole one shot. We only got halfway through it. But you are going to determine whether or not we're going to have more of this particular online gameplay session. So I'm going to get out of the way right now so you guys can make your decision. I'm going to see you on the other side, and it's a long other side. Like I said, we've got an hour's worth of material here. And then we'll talk for a real quick second before I head out the door. So thank you for stopping by. And hey, if you couldn't make it to the premiere, don't worry. This right here is going to show up as a regular video, and you could just leave a comment below. I'll try to get to it as soon as I can. Well, I'm out, y'all, at least for a little bit. So enjoy this online tabletop RPG gameplay session of Gamma World 3rd Edition. Today is another day in New Haven, but not the same as others. Today, the community of New Haven has put their trust in you to find what is the closest to what can be called your family. A caravan bound from the settlement of Rickmond was due 3 days ago and never made it. New Haven has, for almost a year, had a pact with Rickmond for trade. It's been beneficial and healthy. Caravans sent from each settlement make trips approximately every 2 weeks. This current one was expected to bring foodstuffs and other things, possibly unwanted artifacts New Haven could use. New Haven's council put out a call for volunteers to go and scout for this missing caravan and its company. You four were the only ones who volunteered. Now you know it will be dangerous. Loss of life is a strong possibility, especially in the world in which you live. But your group is more formidable than many of the others which have been formed from the denizens of New Haven. The sky is slightly overcast, but the sun is breaking through in patches, the rays slicing their way to the ground like luminescent ramps. The unkempt road leading out of New Haven is broken in various places, but still a faster route than traversing the nearby gnarled fields. It's only within half a mile or so that you hit the forest. Full of box elder and slippery elm trees, oaks. Leaves struggle to regain their light green hue, along with slices of blue and olive. The road ends, the forest rising before you, and you find you have to make your way through the clearer areas as you trudge through towards Rickmond in search of your settlement comrades. So, this will start your adventure. Now, what will happen here is that we are going to take this in different blocks. What I mean by that is that long distance travel in Gamma World is done in normally 6 4-hour blocks. Now, you have to at least rest for 2 of those, or you will suffer what is called fatigue. So in order to do that, you really can only travel 3 blocks during the day and then set up watches at camp during the night. You can only move as fast as your slowest player. So you would look at your sheets, and if we need to adjust the movement rates on that, we can do so. If you are burdened, you will move half of whatever your movement rate is in, and we're going to keep it like that since that's the way that they actually did it in the book. We're going to keep it in kilometers, and the map is in kilometers anyway. So you move half of that in kilometers per day. So if, for example, you have a 24, which probably most of you have, then you can move 12 kilometers if you're burdened per day. Does anyone have any questions before you move into the forest? Fair enough. As you move into the forest, you can feel the coolness of the overcast day and the shade that the shadows cast all around you as everything instantly gets darker as you pass under the canopy of the leaves in the trees. For your first block, and we're going to take your blocks in actually 3 blocks. We're going to do morning, afternoon, evening, and that's just going to make things a whole lot easier. So it's morning at the moment as you guys move on through the trees and through the forest. You have been moving on for quite some time now. And you guys have only taken a short break as you are making your way through the forest. It's early afternoon, getting to be late afternoon.
When we get moving again, I'm going to try to stay mostly in front and focus on scouting as we go.
Alrighty. You're making good time. For earlier, you found a trail. So you didn't really have to cut through things as you first did before. For about 4 hours, you guys were really making good time until this trail ended and you had to go ahead and start to make yourself another trail. And there's a general mood so far as you guys have been traveling that everything is going well. The voice of conscience prays that this good fortune will continue. It's at that time that one of you sees something off to the side of your traveling route, probably about 50 feet to your left. There's something over there. You don't quite know what it is, but they look like huge lumps of something, grayish in color. What will you do?
Aye, what's that over there?
Can I see if they give off any sort of electrical signal or any sort of heat signature or anything using my heightened sight?
Okay, so Zeelan, you want to go ahead and you want to make a heightened vision check. So what we need to do is we need to look at your mutation score for your heightened vision. And for this, we're just going to make any result hit it. So all you need is any colored result to see something from your vantage point where you are right now. So this is going to be, what is your heightened vision is at what's the score on that?
The score on that is 10.
Okay. So you look at going to ACT under rollable tables and column 10, click on that and just hit that button. All right. Let me go ahead and roll that for you then. $65 is a blue result. All right. So you can tell that these look like the body of 2 canine laying on their sides. And they do not look to be moving. Okay, so you said Oakie was going to...
Yeah, Oakie's going to approach the lumps, the what he sees off in the distance a little bit, and get a closer look. Probably wants to go within about a couple meters. Get a closer look at it. And he'll trundle up and take a look.
All right, so as you move, Oakie gets closer, and he can see that this looks to be like the bodies of 2 coyotes lying on their sides.
Normal sized? Any obvious mutations?
There's not. They look like normal coyotes, and from where you're standing right there, they just look like they're normal coyotes, but they're dead.
Hey, what do you see? What do your oak eyes see up there, lad? I'm still getting used to knowing. You say there's a building up there. That can't be right. He didn't say that, did he?
No, they're canine creatures.
Oakie takes a closer look, goes within, takes a close inspection, and wants to see how deteriorated, how rotten or fresh the carcasses are.
Okay. Now, the one thing that you do see about these coyotes as you get closer is that they have leather harnesses on and what looks like probably different sections of leather armor on them, though it's not covering their whole body. So it just, you got to get up close to them to actually see it, because it's on their neck and on their hindquarters, but the rest of their body just seems to be strapped in with these leather harnesses. Did you want to look closer at them or move them around, or are you still looking at them from where you're at?
He's mighty curious. He's gonna approach and actually start gripping at take a kind of search the. He's more interested in the equipment on them. He is a bit cautious. He's kind of a shy tree, so he wants to make sure that he's not disturbing them if they're sleeping. But he definitely is interested in any things that are on them that they don't need anymore.
All right, go ahead.
While he does that,
Go ahead.
I'd like to look around for them, see if it's possible ambush. That's mighty suspicious.
Okay, so you're going to make an intelligence check. So first, let's go ahead with Oakie. Oakie, go ahead and give me, both of you guys are going to be making intelligence checks here. Oakie, you're going to be making an intelligence checks to look for any things on these coyotes, and Poro, right after him, you're going to be making an intelligence check to go ahead and check to see if there's anyone around. 13. Well, that's a swing and a miss. Actually, you roll that on the ACT, but with a 13 and an intelligence of, what's your intelligence?
Mine is 11. So am I on column 11?
Yeah, column 11. Let's try that again with the actual. I'll give you that re-roll because that was a swing and a miss on a 13. Oh, well, that's not a swing and a miss.
Yellow.
That definitely is not a swing and a miss. All right, so as you are moving these coyotes around, you can see that the only thing that whatever kind of coyotes they are, the only thing that they have is this kind of sectioned off leather armor that they're wearing. However, there is something else that you see. Before I do that, go ahead and look around, Poro.
Do I get the bonus for detect traps and ambush?
Sure. Yes. Of course. That's what
Okay.
you're
So
trying to do.
I had my rank to my int, so that'll put it at 17. Correct.
That is correct.
Okay.
There we go. 44. That's probably, yeah, it's a blue. See, you won't even have to look at it. So it's a blue result. So your eyes peer around, Poro, looking for anything out of place, anything peculiar. But eyes and ears don't detect anything in the area. It looks fine. But for you, Oakie, as you are lifting and moving these bodies, you do find something. These strange looking tattoos that adorn these coyotes. And actually, they look more like black brands.
Oakie starts waving at, beckoning the party to come closer with a few branches from his crown.
I'll make my way over.
I slowly make my way over.
Well, as soon as he sees that the Oakie move the bodies around and they don't respond, he starts walking over. He will try to see if he can ascertain the cause of death. Maybe.
Okay. That would be an intelligence roll as well. So intelligence roll. If you have any I don't think anybody has intelligence modifier, so you don't have to worry about that. So let's just go with the base intelligence roll on column, I think for you,
12, I believe.
12. Column 12. 78. Now, it appears as Oakie moves them around, it appears that both of them have died from some serious wounds that looks like they've been torn apart. Like one looks like the neck has been bitten, and the other one looks like something sliced at its side, the side that it was laying on. But there was something else that you notice as well, as Oakie points to the brand or tattoo that is on both of them.
Can I attempt to identify it as something I might have seen in the past?
All right, make an intelligence check. I think yours is 11.
12.
12? Okay, yours is 12 too. So make a roll. Swing and a miss. You don't notice this as anything. However, Miribaldo and you, Oakie, you guys do know what this is. You've heard of this. It is a symbol from a cryptic alliance called the Supremacist. And you know him to be a terrorist organization. And they want to rid the world of all pure strain humans and humanoids.
Oakie holds up one of the coyotes in the air, kind of dangles it from some of his branches, swats at the tattoo or the brand on their, was it, I assume the hindquarter or some area? And,
it's just near where the skin and the fur kind of meet, more towards the underbelly.
He holds it up in the air, and as he's holding up there, he starts removing the armor, the leather armor from these. And they're not bipedal mutants; they just look like pure strain coyotes.
They have 4 legs, so they're just coyotes. Yeah.
Groovy.
Hey, anyone seen that before?
Why do you always yell?
Me not yelling. This is how I speak. I can't help it that you're so much lower than me.
You can't help that you're all so loud.
Aye, well, it comes with the territory. Have you ever met another reindeer? We're all loud.
Why can't you be more like him? And he points to Oakie.
Hey, he's a mute. It's fun and that would be.
I know, it's much nicer.
Aye. Hogwash.
Do I find any? Does Oakie find anything else on the 2 coyote bodies besides the armor?
No, there's nothing else. The armor, you can't really do much with, since it looks to have been made particularly for the coyotes. And the only other thing that you find is just the tattoo and the wounds.
In that case, Oakie would like to claim the armor. If anyone tries to take it from him, he'll yank it away, and kind of coyly, and he starts threading it up in his upper branches and tucks it away.
Okay, are you taking the armor off of both of them, or are you just taking the armor off of one?
He just wants one of them.
So, if you take the leather armor, it will add a little bit to your encumbrance. It won't be as much as normal leather armor since these are in pieces, but it still add a little bit, probably a couple of pounds. You still want to do that?
Yeah, he'll probably just lose it along the way anyway, so he'll just hang on to it for now.
Okay. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and pull up Oakie here and give him some leather armor that doesn't weigh as much as normal leather armor. So, let me put that on his armor. And let's change up that to about 2. That makes more sense. There we go.
While he's doing that, I'm going to pull out my dagger and I'm going to skin off the tattoo.
Oh, you're going to cut it out?
Yes.
Okay. Alrighty. So put that, let me see. Do you have, I'm trying to think of if you guys have that on the character sheet.
I don't see a notes section, no.
No notes section. Okay. So put that in your bio section then, and just put it as a note that you have this skinned tattoo from the coyote.
What was the organization called? Just so I have it for...
Called the Zoopremacist. And you spell that Zoo, Z-O-O, P-R-E-M-I-C-I-S-T-S.
Yeah, their presence in these parts is a bit of a concern. For me specifically, not so much for Poro and the others. But for those who don't know, these are zoopremacists. Just a bunch of wild animals who don't like humans. They may be responsible for the disappearing caravan. There were some humans on it. I suggest we tread cautiously.
Aye, but how did these end up dead here then?
I would assume something killed them.
Obviously, but I mean, like if they attack the caravan, then where's the caravan? Why are these 2 dead ones here?
Perhaps they're the ones that fell during the fighting, but the rest of the caravan was taken away.
Is there any signs of caravan moving through here? Any tracks or anything?
Yeah, when you looked around to detect ambush, you didn't see any kinds of, any wheel tracks or anything like that. You don't find anything like that. You just find these two here. So they maybe were attacked someplace else, and this was just as far as they could make it after being injured.
I don't think the fight happened here. I don't see any sign of any caravan here, but I wonder if they were bleeding, they likely must have left a trail. Maybe we can follow the trail and find out where they came from. That'll lead us to the missing caravan.
Yeah, that's a more optimistic thought than I had.
Or just a whole heap of trouble. One of the two.
Yeah, we can find a bear or something. It was just
What's wrong with bears? I have a good friend that's a bear. He got a problem with bears.
Yes, they're wild.
Hey, we have a good time.
Yeah, it usually doesn't end well for
You drunk
kind
with
of
Fluffy.
me.
He's a nice guy.
Sorry.
Well, okay, are you good? Are you done dressing up?
Oakie trundles away from the point of carnage here and starts walking the perimeter looking for any blood stains or signs of scuffle in the underbrush.
All right. Is anyone else doing that as well? Because if so, if you're going to be doing the same thing, we're going to need separate rolls. We're going to be intelligence checks. However, we're going to need an average roll difficulty factor, which means you're going to need to roll a yellow or higher. And this will take 10 minutes or 15
I'll
minutes.
spread around as well.
I'll do it as well.
Yeah.
Oakie has heightened intelligence, but that's for examining items. So
Right.
I don't know if it apply to this.
No, it wouldn't.
However, he's just a standard 11.
Alrighty. Make him roll. Make them
Will my
rolls.
heightened vision add to this?
Yes, it would. Yes. Unless you're going to just use heightened vision, then
No, I'm going to use it additionally. And I don't really need my heightened hearing to look around, I presume. So what do I add for my heightened vision to my intelligence check?
ooh. Rolling a 66. Nobody makes it except Poro.
Aye, greetings. Name's Poro, the reindeer. So one might wonder how I became what I am. And I'm happy to tell you the story, mate. You see, I'm just out in the forest, minding me own business, when me ears were blessed with the most beautiful sound in the whole wide world. Me ears couldn't believe what they were hearing. Me heart just going to thumpity thump, and it was the sound of angels. Aye, I felt myself just floating on a cloud towards the music, carrying me all the way to the clearing. I saw a small, wee little man playing a trombone. Aye, what a sight it was. In me heart of hearts, I knew I must have that beautiful music maker. So I started making my way through his crops, but I was too tempted and too hungry. Started eating his crops, and they were spicy, poor, and very strange. But the more I ate, the more I wanted, and I grew. Something was changing in me. Me legs grew, I grew arms. It was very strange, but he said, well, now I have arms. I guess I can carry that trombone now. So I walked up to the porch and grabbed it, and I made a wee bit of noise, and the man came out and he started yelling at me, screaming top of his lungs. He was being quite rude, using all sorts of profanity. I stared at him with much disapproval, felt me eyes start to burn, and before I knew it, the beams were shooting out of me eyes, and took his arm clean off. I hand and all. And then I spoke for the first time ever in me life, in his strange accent. And I said, "Hi, sorry about that, laddie. Keep your head on. It's just an accident. Listen, seeing as how you ain't gonna be needing this here trombone anymore, I just gotta take it off your hands, or I guess hand would be more appropriate now." He just stared at me in disbelief. So I grabbed the trombone and I turned around, left. Yes, and I just ran. I started running. My long legs carried me further than I'd ever gone before. I never did find that wee farmer again, though. Hopefully, he sorted out that missing arm.
So you guys move further on in a different direction, which is going most of a westerly direction, Poro. And it's probably about 50 meters, maybe a little less. More in a westerly direction is when you spot what looks like blood on some leaves of some bushes that are nearby. Blood spatter. And it looks to be on several of the leaves in that area. And when you search the ground itself, you can see, even though it's hard to see, you can see that there are small blood puddles, actually. But it looks like they've dried up, but it's hard to see in the dirt. It's only from your keen senses of observation that you're able to pick it out.
I see everybody else kind of in a different direction, and I try to kind of catch their eye and wave them towards me.
Oakie approaches.
I found a little bit of blood here. Look at this.
Oakie takes a branch and reaches up and swats him on the hindquarters, kind of like he's used to letting somebody know they did a good job.
I gotta buy me dinner first.
caresses the haunch.
I scratch just back there. Aye, right there. I knew you were useful for something.
Did you want to look for anything else while you guys were in this area, or were you going to continue to move on?
Is there like a trail I can follow of this blood that's kind of going off?
When you look for the actual trail, there's no blood trail. So it looks like whatever happened in this place here. But the only other thing that you do see is you see a couple of the paw prints, and it looks like that they're from coyotes, but there's some other ones there as well. But you lose them in the foliage nearby.
Ah, yes, unfortunately, it seems like a dead end. Something happened here, but whatever it is, we're not finding it out right now.
I cannot get over this tree, man.
Hey, what do you want me to do? As he looks up at Oakie, I don't see anything else. Not my fault. Look with your oak eyes. Maybe you'll see something.
Oakie takes one of his branches down into the dirt and points an arrow towards the blood trail.
I look there.
He does another arrow after it, as in to like 3 arrows consecutive.
We can go that way. I'm fine with that.
So you guys will continue onward in the direction that Oakie has indicated in the dirt?
Why not?
Good enough. You go through underbrush, and it's beginning to get a little darker now. By the time that you go probably an hour in that direction, you don't see anything. There's no other trails. You don't see any other blood. You just have continued onward in this direction. Not quite sure if you'll run into anything or not. But the sun now is beginning to set.
Finally. It never set.
It's dusk now. There still is a little bit of sunlight where you guys could probably get maybe another hour's worth of travel in before it will get hard to see. Especially...
Not hard for me.
I suggest we make camp now while we still have the light.
Oakie points a long branch towards Miribaldo and kind of gives his best branchy thumbs up.
And then I will try to look for a good place to camp.
It's not long before you guys find a little area. It's maybe only about 20 by 20 feet, but it's a rough clearing where you guys could sit down, and the actual ground itself isn't too rough. You also have some places, some other trees and places where you guys could lean against and try to get a good night's rest.
If there's a nice tree, I'm going to kind of pat down with my hooves a nice area for me to just lay under the tree.
Oakie has plant identify. He wants to walk the short perimeter, kind of give a perimeter inspection to see if there's anything dangerous plant life, anything that's going to shoot spines, drop acid, grab us in their tangles, or grow sod over us while we're slumbering.
All right, let's go ahead and use that plant identify, which I don't know how that works. How exactly does that work? You'd have to look in your sheet.
Basically, any colored result means, and it's incremental. The better the result, the more I'll know.
Okay.
So I got a 7, so I'll roll on column 7 here.
All righty. What do we have? We got a blue result. Well, as you are making your rounds around the area in this clearing where you guys have just found and discovered, you don't see, or you can't see any plants that you are aware of that would be dangerous to you. As a matter of fact, most of the plants you don't sense any sentience except normal sentience, unlike yourself. So there's no danger that anything in the area, from what you can see, not from the plant life around here.
Oakie goes to the center of camp and spreads his branches out wide, does kind of a pirouette, and gives several thumbs up to everybody.
I'm just nibbling on some grass.
So you all find your respective places.
I would size up Oakie to see if he has big enough branches to hold Miribaldo.
What?
If I'm going to sleep, I'm going to sleep above the ground. Might as well use Oakie for that, if he doesn't mind.
Actually, Oakie doesn't have branches in that sense.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm sizing him up just to see if there is a possibility.
But you could, if you were to look at his portrait on his character sheet, he's big enough to where you could probably just sleep on his back if he'd allow you.
Yeah.
He has really big branches that he walks on. He has really huge branches, so there's like 4 or 5 that he walks on.
He is a bush furrow.
And pretty much like a little itty-bitty twig-like things on top of his, what would look like a head.
That's my
Yeah,
crown.
Sizing him up to see how much space does he have, just if it's worth to ask to get myself situated on him, or would it be too uncomfortable and I probably shouldn't go for it.
Technically,
Oakie's not.
Oakie is big too. He's about. He's a small oak tree. He's not a normal size oak tree. He's smaller, but he still would be considered like a large target because he stands a little, probably a little over Poro, who stands 8 feet at the. So he probably stands about 12 feet. So he's a short oak tree. You might be able to, in terms of being able to find a space on or around him. I mean, if he spreads out his walking branches, you could sleep maybe underneath him. That's about as close as you can get. Or you can sleep on him. But that's up to him.
Yeah, that's the second question. That would be directly to Oakie. Hey, Oakie, do you move a lot when you sleep?
You want to sleep together?
Just makes me laugh.
Is it a yes or is it a no?
I guess it would
I
depend
know.
on how much the wind is blowing.
And I don't know how about you, but I'm a little bit concerned with zoologists, what they call the premises presence here. I'd rather be,
Oakie's going to rut in with his lower walking appendages and try to get some sustenance while he's going a little bit dormant for the night. And he'll make himself sort of like a, to the best player knowledge, kind of like a small hump tent with his frame, since he has 6 walking appendages. And if there's room to sleep under that, he doesn't move at all. He just starts rooting in, kind of wiggles his roots into the ground, ties in, and then all of a sudden goes very still.
I'm going.
Are we in some
Miribaldo
sort of clearing?
You're clearing, yeah. The clearing is like a sort of clearing, you know, about, like I said, maybe 20-foot diameter, you know.
Are there any actual trees around us?
Oh yeah, there's trees all over.
Okay, I'm just gonna climb one of the trees and find a good place to sleep. I don't know why he's looking for Oakie specifically.
because it's a sentient tree that can protect me.
Yeah, not if she's sleeping.
I think Miribaldo just likes to snuggle.
Right.
All right. You guys find all of the places that you want to hunker down for the night. And the night sounds fill your ears and slowly lull you into a moderate slumber. When you wake up, it is early the next day. You wake up and stretch to get yourself together, but some of you are hungry. Now, we never established, but did you guys bring those rations or not? Because if you did, I have to add them to your sheets. There were 10 of them because I gave both of you 5, which would last you a week. Did you want that many, or did you want less than that?
I can take 2 and put 3 on Oakie when he is not looking, just hanging on somewhere. Hopefully it will stay in there.
All right.
I'm going to go out hunting and foraging.
Okay, so if you, Zeelan, wanted to go and try that, you could add if you're doing listening instead, then yeah, you can add that to your you can add that rank to your intelligence to try to find something.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Orange. Not only did you find something for this morning, but you also find something that'll probably last you for another day or two. So after everyone getting their sustenance for the morning, you move on. But you can see something. The clouds today are looking a little darker than normal. Actually, there's some gray and dark gray clouds that are overhead that you can see through the canopy of the trees. It's a little cooler, and the sun cannot be seen. But you press on.
Question for the GM.
Yes, sir.
What are we following a trail right now, or what's our?
You're just going through the woods. You're actually just going in a direction heading westerly.
Towards Rickman?
Yes.
Groovy, thanks.
You guys move on. It's hours. Long hours, actually. When the sky fills with purple and crimson in the early afternoon, or actually late morning.
Every once in a while, as we're ambling along, Oakie kind of like moves from one party member to the other, kind of like keeps an eye out for them and keeps an eye on their gear and whatnot. But as he comes up beside Poro, he keeps an eye out because he notices that he swishes flies off his haunches quite a bit. He sees a larger like blood fly or anything on the back. He tries to swat it off to help him, and hopefully he doesn't get mad.
Okay.
Roll damage. No.
Hey there! Calm down now. I didn't do anything wrong. No need to spank me.
I want you to rut.
Hey, that's not the wrong time of year.
Considering everybody else is moving a bit slower, I'm going to take time as we're going to scout around ahead of the group every now and again.
Okay. Well, you don't find anything as you are going ahead, and you guys, it's late morning when the sky begins to fill with a purple and a crimson, and the clouds become darker. The sudden wind begins to sway the branches of the forest trees, and you can hear them. There's a crack that can be heard as some of the branches fall to the ground. You, Oakie, see what the wind is doing to the rest of the trees, and it makes you feel uneasy. You don't even find the time to find shelter before it hits. Rain begins to pour down.
Oakie contracts his body a bit to become more umbrella-like as he walks. So he's going to hunker lower to the ground and widen his stance.
Do you want to try to find shelter, or do you want to just continue on through the rain?
Rains here can be dangerous. We should probably try to find somewhere to settle down, at least for a little while.
If you
I
want,
concur with that.
so if you're going to try to find, maybe a copse of bushes where the rain is not penetrating as much, or even for an individual, maybe a tree is hollowed out, or even an abandoned burrow. Again, you're going to have to make intelligence checks. There's no difficulty on this one per se, except that the degree of your difficulty will tell what you have found in terms of shelter.
Got a terrain question for the GM?
Sure.
Is it fairly flat within this forest that we're walking through, or are there rocks jutting out? What sort of topography are we dealing with?
So the ground is covered with smaller plants, and it's mostly just the flat lands. It's not swampy or anything like that. You every now and again will see maybe a felled tree, but there's no rocks, and it's not hilly or going up and down. It's staying relatively flat.
Am I safe to assume I can add my scouting to looking for a place that's safer?
Yes, you can.
Nope, apparently can't find anything.
Anybody else looking?
Aye, it's a bit gritty out here, so be good to look. So do I need to roll?
You would need to roll an intelligence check, and we'll see what exactly the result factor will get you. You find for yourself, surprisingly, Poro, there is a small copse of bushes where the rain's not coming down as hard. You're still getting wet a little bit, but if you just lay down underneath this area, it acts like a little bit of a shelter for you. And only some drops here or there are still getting you wet. Your ear has to flick, your ear and your tail. You have to flick this stuff away. You just have to kind of bear through it. But most of the rain is you're sheltered from most of the rain. As far as Zeelan, you couldn't find anything. Even the area where Poro is just big enough for him. Anyone else? You guys
Oakie's
just
going to
stay-
stretch his body up taller and give a 360 view of the area before the weather gets too bad on us.
Now, as you're looking around, you can see that, the rain is just coming down. In some areas it's coming down harder just because of the canopy of the trees is blocking some of the rain, but rain is coming down all over. The sudden storm that has happened for you doesn't do anything. For you, this is good. And so
I figured it wasn't going to hurt at all. I'm drinking it in, pardon the pun, but I want to make sure, because I've seen when these fleshlings get a little wet, they get sniffly, so I want to see if I can help out.
Now, Miribaldo, were you just standing around, or were you just were you going to try to find a place to get out of the rain?
Yeah, well, he was walking closer to Oakie because it's 3. Although he will use shield he has a wooden shield, so he's going to cover himself a little bit, but he will try to find something better. If there is an option for it.
Go ahead and make an intelligence. Go ahead and make an intelligence check. Now, so you're next to Oakie, and as you're moving around, and you actually spot a area of 3 felled trees, but they have fallen in such a way and crisscrossed in such a way that you can actually crawl underneath, and the area that is underneath these 3 felled trees is perfect for you. Now it's a little bit uncomfortable since you pretty much have to lay down either on your stomach or on your back in order to get shelter from the rain. But when you go underneath there, it completely covers you. It's a perfect little spot that you've found to get out of the rain. The rain lasts for a time. And I have to make a little something, but go ahead, do your thing. I am listening.
While under the trees waiting for the rain to change, for the weather to change, Miribaldo will use his dagger to carve sort of a little bit on the tree that's above him, like Miribaldo was here.
Okay.
Oakie takes a look at Zeelan. What's Zeelan's condition right now?
Zeelan is, I don't know where he is exactly, but you can see that he's drenched at the moment. He was trying to find a place, but it doesn't look like, unlike Poro and Miribaldo, he's been unsuccessful.
I think Oakie's gonna trundle over to Zeelan and kind of try to morph his body to make kind of like his tent-like structure like he did for Miribaldo. See if that helps.
Alrighty. So Zeelan, you're looking for all of this stuff and you can't find anything. And it's a little chilly outside. So now you're starting to shiver a little bit as the rain continues to fall. But Oakie comes over, and with his legs, he forms this kind of canopy that's underneath him. And you, actually being the smallest of everyone here, going underneath Oakie is a good deal. Didn't cross your mind when you were looking for something because the rain came so suddenly. But now that he has presented himself in front of you, you crawl underneath, and it is a perfect spot for your body. Now, you're still wet and everything, but you have gotten out of the rain as it begins to pour down. I have to make.
Is it generally dry under here, effectively?
Yeah, it's pretty dry. I mean, next to you, some of the rain gets on you because it's coming in at an angle, right? And so he can only cover you with his legs, but there's spaces in between. But for the most part, yeah, it's dry.
I will take off my furs, shake them a little bit, and set them aside and just wear the clothing at the moment, so I'm not as wet.
All right. Awesome. So that is where we are at, folks, for right now. And the question will be, number one, kind of a question of the vid thing, is what did you like that was different? What didn't you like? And then number two, should we even do the next part? Should I even post the next part? Let me know in the comments below. That's a quickie, y'all. If you liked what you saw, remember, smash and crush the like button. And also, if you liked what you saw, you want to see more of this, and then we got plenty, y'all. We got plenty of videos. Trust the brother. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well. But me, I still got more videos to do, y'all. Oh, yeah. That's how I roll. So, brother, I got to catch you. Wait. On the flip. So, I got to say, peace and hair grease.